One of my new favorite phrases right now in this quarantine has been the phrase Karen. I think it's the funniest thing in the world. I don't know who decided to put this all together, but honestly, we got to talk about Karens because I'm starting to use that phrase. Honestly, boomer is a phrase I love to use now. Karen is a phrase I love to use right now as well. Let's talk about it. First, I got to go and do this. I'm going to do a little bit of plugging, and forgive me for doing this because I'm going to do it. And I know some people don't necessarily want me to go into this kind of thing, but I will anyway. So I have a couple things to plug. One is kingofamazon.com. All it is my special way to get you into Amazon. And if you go to that page, it just takes you to Amazon. But I get a commission off of what you buy from Amazon. That's all I ask you to do. I don't see anything. I don't know what you're going to buy, but whatever you buy a lot because then I can make a nice big fat commission every couple of months so I can go and put it back into the content I'm doing right here. Maybe a better camera, maybe better equipment. But help me out from there. And also, if you want to do a Cash App or PayPal, there's the names that I'm under right there. If you want to drop it on yourself, feel free. You can do that. Let's move along into my featured segment here, the seductive appeal of pandemic shaming. So now, New York Times talks about this. They say, I can't control who gets sick or when we might return to something that looks like normal, but judging a random guy on the sidewalk, that I can do. All right, here we go. Here's the thought process from this lady, Jennifer Weiner, who wants to give an op-ed about finding reasons to gripe and complain. Okay, so here's where we go. Let's go and look what they talk about. So normally she sees sidewalk spitting is a regular feature where she lives in Philadelphia. I'm mildly revolted. Rolling my eyes, get on with my day. When I saw that man the other morning, I was mildly anything, not mildly much. Instantly, immediately enraged. But there's a pandemic. I wanted to yell, don't you care? Well, the anger is always with me these days, thumping through my bloodstream, a simmer waiting to burst into a boil. Now, the reason I say this is because we look at the young lady's picture, and the first thing that some of you out there think of, she's a Karen. So let's move along to what she continues to say here. She also says, I'm angry when I watch the presidential news conferences, the daily parade of lies and propaganda, people who should know better, maskless and crammed together on the dais. Okay. And then she sees spring breakers cavorting on the beaches, or city dwellers lounging in crowded parks, or a churchgoer blithely insisting if she's been washed in his blood. So it's all good. So when I see misbehavior in person, she says, is it all I can do not to start shouting either in real life or virtually? Why aren't you? Why don't you? And don't you realize you're putting people at risk? Well, that's what's going on here. And she actually goes on and mentions the phrase Karen, which is really funny. Now, another person she mentions on here is talking about the writhing with finger pointing. When she sees Facebook groups rolling with gotchas. I saw a supermarket cashier without a mask. I saw a man use an ATM pad with his bare hands. My idiot cousin's posting conspiracy theaters. My mom went and got a pedicure. So there's all this going on. And then she mentions that and this is the most important part. With this impulse comes a different fear. Let me point this out. It comes a different fear. The fear of being that white lady. I gotta laugh. That white lady of a certain age who would like to speak to your manager. I want to speak to your manager. And I'll tell you, I worked for a Publix and I worked for a CVS. And damn it, is it true? I met a lot of damn Karens doing that stuff because I worked in the pharmacy too. Even worse. I could tell you of a story where there was a young lady that, middle age, had like a 4 or 5-year-old daughter, was waiting for an emergency script. And all she was looking for was just like some antibiotics and something because the little girl cut her finger, I think it was. Something like that. Or had like a sprained wrist or sprained hand. And just came out of the emergency room, gave an emergency script, wanted something, okay, turn it around in 30 minutes. A little bit hard to do when you have a line of people at night. So she's there. She forces the kid and pushes on the hurt arm or the hurt hand to make the girl scream a little bit and cry in order to agitate the pharmacist to do their prescription sooner. And then she would go ahead and say, do you see how my daughter's acting right now? And she did that. Well, you know what? She still didn't get her script early enough. Just saying. So here's what she says here. A Karen, for those who don't know, is based on the idea that there is a specific type of overprivileged white woman, suburban soccer mom with the can I speak to the manager? Can I speak to the manager haircut? And this is according to a culture writer at Vox. As the lockdown continues, she says, are the Karens, now, this is actually pretty funny. Are the Karens becoming even more Karenish? Has the virus started the night of the living Karens? As everyone scrutinizes and side eyes and embraces the mandate, snitch on thy neighbor. Are we all Karens now? No, you are. So, Damon Young, who's the author of What Doesn't Kill Makes You Blacker, has seen plenty of Karening, he says. And since the virus hit, and he says, everyone is scared, quote, everyone is anxious. People are allowing fear to impact their decisions. Now, there's another story that came into, and listen, don't judge me because I'm pulling this side up, but RT, somebody put this op-ed up. And here's the question. The Karen meme isn't sexist. And if you think it is, you're a real Karen. Here's the story from Micah Curtis. There's the haircut. For anybody who wants to know, that is the Karen haircut. You know a lot of women that have that haircut. They might, you know what? If you're going to get your hair styled, I bet you as the pandemic is finishing up, right? I almost guarantee there are some women that said, you know what, girlfriend, come on over, do my hair, make it a Karen for right now. It'll be easy to manage, and I can just take care of my stuff, and I can deal with my kids, and deal with homeschooling, and doing a little bit of grocery shopping I have to do, so I don't have to get myself all fixed up. You know, I don't need to do much with my hair, just like that, little makeup, go. I'm already going to be fed up. I'm already going to be wired and punchy and all this stuff. Wound up. You can just see it now. So anyway, the stories are, this is the one. If you haven't seen this before, this is the actual meme of memes. This is Karen. She'd like to speak to the manager. I love this. Anyway, so memes are as good as a lockdown distraction as any. Making waves now is Karen, who always wants to speak to the manager. Some things is sexist. It's not. If you're a Karen, you're an entitled brat, whatever your gender. So for the uninitiated, a Karen, and this is a better definition of what the Karen is. So here's what it is. A Karen is someone who tends to throw a fit at a business in an attempt to get extra service. It never works. It never works. And you know they're going to remember you too. And then you do that, you get an idiot, and then you're just going to make yourself look like, the employers are always going to remember. The people that go into the store, they know it's just a scene that's like, whatever, Karen. But the employees are going to remember. Trust me, I know this. Damn, I worked at Domino's Pizza at one point, and there was one lady who was an absolute Karen. She would put her name in one way and then make it another. She on purpose tried to make a hard time for us as customer service representatives to take her order, to the point when she started coming in, we even said, manager, Stephanie, she'd handle it, because we know this lady could not help herself. She had to go through the rigmarole to try to catch us in a mistake. That's what she liked to do. That she was into that. I don't understand. The worst kind of Karen it could have been. I've seen them all. I can tell you I have. So back to this. Now, oftentimes this is expected to be a middle-aged woman with a very short haircut who often asks to speak to the manager, despite the fact that the service given to them has been exactly what they paid for. It is not a new meme at all. In fact, this is the type of person that anyone working in a service job dreads because of their massive sense of entitlement. Point that picture out, friends. You know some people that look like this Karen. They might be nice people, but man, put them in front of a manager at a store or a restaurant or wherever, car shop, think about it. There's always the one that's going to be a Karen that's going to be agitating. And wait till this becomes part of the vernacular, like this story is right here. When Karen becomes a phrase that people will find, it will be, and they're already trying to call it a slur word and trying to shut it down. That's what they're doing on Twitter. I already see it as we speak. And like I looked on Twitter right now and I'm looking and say, okay. So the Karen memes right there. That's where I found this whole thing. And again, you look across, there's the whole thing, all little memes about Twitter with Karen. Coronavirus coming to the U.S., Karen with lavender essential oil. See, things like that. That Karening intensifies. Just, if you need to laugh, you need to get a little bit of a smile, just look for memes of Karen out there. The best ones are TikTok, if one of them might have been told. That's where you go find them all. But anyway, back to the story. So the Karen meme even has its own subreddit with its numerous examples of Karens. I gotta pull this up for a second. Hold on. So the Reddit is "fuck you, Karen." Here we go. We were oh boy, hold on. No notifications. Drunk on ignorance. Propaganda that says 5 grams causes corona. 40-year-old Facebook. Okay. Then you have okay. There's a minister of parliament that's in the UK that was bashing up on Boris Johnson, and that is her called out as a Karen flat out. If you look for the videos, of course, they always have the thing with the Drake thing. I always think that's funny too. So then there's that, and then political Karen is the worst Karen. It's time for us to be opened up, and then go to the hairdressers, get our hair done. Karens have had enough of being called Karens. That's funny stuff. How to train to be a Karen. There we go. You put on the hair, dress the part. It's just wrong. There you go. Karen. Oh, boy, that's funny. All right. Back to my story here. So now from the perspective of any working stiff, memes like this are a great way to let off some steam. Nobody likes dealing with Karen. Nobody puts paper in the corner. Nobody lets Karen speak. Just get her out. Get her out of the store as quickly as possible. So anyway, back to the story. Nobody likes dealing with Karen. There's some people out there that the instant you spot them, you know they're waiting to complain about something. That's Karen. Now, it's an easy shorthand and an effective one. However, some people are making it out as sexist. No, it's not. I mean, you can put guys out there that might be, I think there's gay guys that probably would be Karens too. There's probably some guys out there that can be actually Karens too. There is an actual attitude about that. Boomer doesn't necessarily mean old people. Do you understand? It just means saying something or doing something that acts boomer-like. Okay? You know what I mean? That's the whole point. I'm Generation X. So, listen, I'm not a boomer, but I might do one thing that's a boomer once in a while. You know what? Call me out as a boomer. That's okay. I'd rather you do that to me and put me in my place. That's all right. So now back to this. To those special individuals who make this claim, you sound like a Karen. Claims of you just want to control me, or it's because I'm a woman, or are silly. And what's more important, don't apply here. The classic Karen is a middle-aged anti-vaxxer soccer mom. But being a douchebag isn't gender specific. So in a sense, neither is being a Karen. Good point. There's a Target Tory situation where independent journalists tried to get an electric toothbrush for a penny. On that day, David Levin became the most famous Karen on the internet. Why? Because he made himself look like a complete and total jerk while trying to cancel some woman for doing her job. Tori ended up getting a massive donation to go on vacation, mostly because there are so many people out there who were able to identify with her plight. Here's the most important thing. Make sure you're doing your job right. Honestly, if you know you are not making mistakes and you allow people to kind of let you get put like that, don't do it. If you're at a job, you know what? Let the manager handle it. And if you're a manager, man up. If you didn't do anything wrong, and honestly, it's an expendable customer. Don't even allow that. Just politely, listen, you can leave. You can leave. Look, you want what you want? Out. Actually, I had a Uber passenger that was an absolute Karen. You know what I did? I gave her money back. I was like, listen, hey, I'll give you your money back. She doesn't know why, but you know what I did after that? I canceled her. I said, you know what? I don't want you in my car anymore. I put it on the Uber support. Do not, by the way, Uber and Lyft drivers, they're allowed to do that. You can actually go and put out and say, if you have a rider and you don't want to have them in your car anymore, you absolutely can do that. You have the right. So any Karens that get in your car, get them out. That's it. Uber and Lyft drivers, remember, you have the right to do that. So back to the point here. It has nothing to do with your genitals or your pronouns. It's all about attitude. So how about we be honest for a moment? Trying to call the Karen meme sexist is being a Karen. You're trying to distract yourself from your own behavior with a false accusation of bigotry. That's exactly what these types are doing. They're throwing accusations and being a brat to get free stuff, like free validation. And there's the one thing we always talk about. What a great meme to finish off. Karen Gillian from Jumanji. I prefer the real Karen. So I'd prefer her. But anyway, then there's the real Karen. And then there's the other Karen that's on the Twitter meme: 48, divorced, 3 kids, anti-vaxxer, flat earther, alcoholic, ex-stripper, cat lady, soccer mom, suicidal depression, ex-porn star, going on her. Kentucky, Karen. I love that phrase. So please use that phrase and, treat it, just spread it around, not like the virus, but please use the word, fervently. I hope you do. And don't be a Karen.